Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are Karen Schaeffer and Tom Milligan. Tom's with TKM Productions and is presenting Karen's play coming up in a couple of weeks called Girls Weekend. So, first off, welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we talk about your production, Tom, Karen, you're a Des Moines based playwright, written several plays. Tell me a little bit about how you chose this as your occupation.
Well, I actually have a real job, what I call a real job. I'm an executive secretary to the general manager at Iowa PBS. And I was 49 years old and I was looking at the different seasons. We have several theaters in Des Moines, and I was not happy with what I was seeing for women in my age group. You could either be somebody's mom or you could be the crazy aunt. And that's pretty much the choice you had for women who are close to 40, close to 50. And that was not what I was seeing in society at that time. We were working women, women in my neighborhood, women who were losing their partners or who are getting divorced and having second lives, having second careers, all of these things. And we were being pigeonholed in the theater into this one classic character. So I said, I can either do something about it or I can keep complaining. And I'm not the type of person who just complains. So I sat down on my couch, and in 2 weeks, I wrote the first rendition of Girls Weekend. I did it without even my husband knowing about it. And when I finished it, I said, "Hey, I've written this play. Will you read it?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "I've written this play. Will you read it?" And he's like, "You wrote a whole play?" And I said, "Yes, I wrote a whole play." And he said, "Okay, I'm going to read it, but keep in mind, if it's not good, I'm going to tell you it's not good." I'm like, "Well, of course you are. That's fine. Whatever, whatever." I'm like, "That's our relationship. I would expect you to do that." So he read it and he said that it made him so nervous because I'm just glaring at him, waiting to see if he's going to like this play or not. But he laughed, and then he laughed again. And then when he finished reading it, he said, "I think you've got something here." And then we went through several processes. I have several friends that are in the theater, and they are my go-to people. To this day, they're my go-to people. I call them my team, and they will read my first drafts and give me feedback and tell me what works, what doesn't work, what characters, if those characters feel real, or if I need to work on them a little bit more. And through a 2-year process, I completed Girls Weekend, to the point where I thought I had something that was pretty good. And then John Byers came to me and said, "I hear you wrote a play." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he said, why haven't I read it yet?" And I said, uh, "I don't know." And so I gave him Girls Weekend. He said we should do a staged reading, which we did. Normally at those, you have about 20 people attend. We had 130. The majority of people said this should be on a main stage. So the next year, John came to me and he said, "We're interested in putting this on the main stage." And I just went from there. From that point on forward, I started writing more, and we had a huge success with Girls Weekend at the Playhouse. It has played all across the country, and I think you'll find in my bio that it's played in Canada, Germany. It was in Iceland. It was in Australia. Yeah, it's been all over the place and does very, very well.
I saw from your bio that you've written several plays. I did not realize this was the first one.
Yeah, first one ever.
So yeah, so you hit a home run your first time out. So did that create some pressure with we'll talk specifically about Girls Weekend, but now I'm kind of curious from a writing perspective. You kind of hit a home run this first time out. When you sat down to write a second one, did you feel a lot of pressure?
Yes. It was like, am I the one hit wonder? You know, you get one shot and then you don't do anything ever again. And I was scared about starting that second one. We took so long in the process of Girls Weekend that I had a couple of ideas, but I didn't start writing anything else until Girls Weekend was produced. So my second play was Choices, Choices. That one also ended up on the Playhouse main stage. The third play that I wrote was Suddenly She Forgets, which has never been done. And what I discovered with that one was it was very funny. Unfortunately, it came at a time when we were crossing over into the Me Too area. And suddenly I realized that this was no longer politically correct. And I kind of pulled it back since then because it just doesn't play. Before that, it played fine. After that, it doesn't play. It would require major rewrites. So I've pulled it back.
Tom, you've been a part of the Des Moines uh, theater scene for quite a long time. When did you first become aware of Karen and this play?
Oh, we were just talking about this, that I've known them for many, 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 many years. I worked with her husband, Max. We've all been at the Playhouse together, and we've all been at different theaters in Des Moines together doing things. As big as Des Moines is, it's kind of a small theater community, and everybody works with everybody. Of course, I've been over here for quite a while, but through Facebook, I found out that Karen was starting to write these shows. And let me just say, it's one thing for somebody to write a show, write a play, but it's a totally different thing to be able to say that your play has been produced, and yet another totally different thing to say that your play has been published. And so I've been following Karen now for several years with her shows, and yeah, I was amazed that it was playing in Iceland. I thought, this is great. It's in Iceland. So when Deb and I started looking for shows for this year, it we're always looking for a good farce, is what this is. You know, that's what really plays well for people. That's kind of what we're looking for. One of those evenings of you just come and you laugh as somebody walks in one door, somebody walks out another door, because case of mistaken identity. And this particular show, I had seen the Facebook posts on it that was done at the Playhouse and other areas around in Newton. I think it's been done in Newton and several other locations around Iowa. So it just looked fun, and we felt that we could get the cast together to do it justice. And so we I don't even know if we contacted Karen before we did it. We just applied for the rights and they gave it, and we then let her know that we were going to do her show. So we were very pleased with being able to do this, and I think the audience will be too. I think there's a lot of stuff in here. As Karen said, there's a lot of stuff in here that our audience, which is heavily female, will be able to identify with and have a good time with.
Karen, give me the back of the script summary of Girls Weekend.
Oh, Meg and Dot and Carol and Ellie go to Dot's cabin for a girls' weekend. As the wine comes in, and there's more and more wine and more drinking. The partners, husbands, significant others of the women who are in this story start showing up, and they want to keep it secret from Dot. So some shenanigans happen, and Dot ends up passing out, and then it really gets a little crazy.
It's wine generated. I should also say that our sponsors for this show are Ackerman Winery and Fireside Winery. So it kind of falls right into their game plan here.
In vino veritas.
Yes.
Tom, you said you didn't think you'd have any trouble filling out the cast, and I'm kind of filling it out in my mind right now. I know a couple of the people, but there are some familiar Eastern Iowa faces that are going to be on stage for this.
We do. We have, of course, Deb's going to be in it. She's in there. Marcia Hughes, Lisa Margolin, Ryan Gaffney, who is back in the area. Some people will remember him from the old Creamery Theater Company. Ryan Gaffney's in there. Trying to think of Sedona Helmke, who's been in several of our shows. She is in there, kind of rounds out the female side. Alan Bodker is in it as well. Trying to remember who else is in, but it's a great cast. It's new people that we've never worked with before, and some people that we've had on stage several times. So it's a nice mix, and they're all really working well together. The rehearsal process is interesting because Krista Newman is directing for us, and it's the first time we've worked with Krista. We work under kind of a rapid rehearsal rate here, and so she's kind of adjusting to that. But it's interesting to see all of these different characters and how they develop through the show and relate to one another under the influence of alcohol.
Is the alcohol on stage real, I guess, is the next question.
Absolutely not. No, we're not going to do that. But it's a fun show. We're really looking forward to it.
You wouldn't have a play by the time they finish if it was real alcohol.
That's exactly right. That show could go on for a really long time.
Karen, how many opportunities have you had to see this show produced?
Before it was published, my husband and I actually went to 4 different productions. And since it's been published, we've been to probably another 4 or 5 productions that we've seen. It's fun seeing the different takes that community theaters have on this show. You know, we saw it in Des Moines with people that we know, a director that we know, but to go to these other places, they have such their take and how they're able to make this work, and it's just genius every single time. We're so happy to see what they've created and the actors and how those actors envision these characters. It's so much fun.
As a writer myself, when someone appreciates your work who you don't know, that's a pretty amazing feeling.
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah. And it's always so surprising to me how people respond to my being in the theater. I I've started asking theaters to not say that I'm in the house because it makes the actors so nervous. And when the actors do know that I'm in the house before I arrive, I usually try to meet them and reassure them, I don't know every line in the story. I'm not going to jump up on stage and tell you you're doing it wrong. I'm just there to enjoy what you're creating. But it really is interesting how they respond to you.
Are you going to make it across to Amana to see this show?
I am. We're already planning on it. We're so excited to see it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a little talk back opening night. So Karen and Max will be here, so we're looking forward to that and seeing what they think of our show.
All right. Well, it's Girls Weekend with TKM Productions coming up November 3rd through the 5th at the Amana Performing Arts Center. How do we get tickets, Tom?
Well, you can get tickets online. We have our website up and running now. It's TKM Theatrical Productions. You can go to any of those, that website. All of our tickets are linked there now with all of the shows through the rest of the year. You can also do Facebook. Once again, TKM Theatrical Productions. You can follow us there as well. We're slowly but surely getting close to 500 followers there. Best way is go through our website. You can get tickets and see what else is coming up for the rest of the year. And we'll soon be announcing our next season for next year there as well.
Karen, do you have a presence on the internet or Facebook if people want to follow your work?
I have a Facebook page, Karen Schaeffer Plays.
All right. Well, looking forward to this. Looking forward to seeing your reaction to it, Karen, when you get to see it. And for those watching the video, there's the poster right there. Girls Weekend, November 3rd through the 5th. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.